Hello, good morning, good afternoon. So this is day 2 of Joyful January. So today's session will be all about the wrists and the fingers because we put a lot of weight onto our wrists in downward dogs, in planks, and sometimes you can get a little bit of pain. So it's good to strengthen the wrists. So we'll start today just coming straight down onto all fours. So stack your shoulders over the wrists, spread the fingers as wide as you can, and just start to press into that space between thumb and first finger. And then take your shoulders and just take a little circle around the wrists, going in one direction and then going back in the other direction. Keep pressing into the space between the thumb and the index finger, and then coming back to a stationary position. So this time pressing the knuckles down into the mat, just see if you can lift the palm away from the mat. So it might just be a very tiny movement. So releasing so the hand is flat and then pressing into the tips of the fingers, lifting the palm away. Again, pressing in so the palm lifts away and release. Just take a couple more. And then sit back down onto the knees and just give the wrists a little bit of a shake out. Come back down onto your hands and knees, and this time turn the fingers so they're pointing towards the knees. Trying to draw the heel of the hand down towards the mat, just feeling that stretch through the forearms as well. And it might just be enough to stay here, or you might be able to move forwards and backwards. Again, trying to place the whole of the hand down onto the mat. And then come back to neutral, but turning the fingers so that the fingers point towards the edges of the mat, and then moving from side to side. Again, pressing all four corners of the hand into the mat. And then sit back down onto the knees. Again, give the wrists a bit of a shake up and down. And then extending the right arm out in front, palm facing up. Turn the fingers down towards the mat, and with your left hand, just work the fingers back so you're stretching out through the forearm into the wrist. And then release that stretch and turn the fingers down towards the mat. You can use the left hand again to press in the other direction. And then release. We'll do the same with the left hand. So palm facing up, arm outstretched. Fingers start to turn towards the floor, and using the right hand, just adding a little bit of pressure, stretching out through the left forearm, the left wrist. And then turning the fingers down towards the mat, using the right hand for a counter stretch. Release the hands down onto the mat. And then, like yesterday, in our head and shoulders stretch, we took thread the needle. So we'll do that again. So keeping the left hand down on the mat, reach the right arm up to the sky, and then thread the right arm underneath the left. So you're working the right fingers out to the side, releasing the right shoulder, the right ear down towards the mat. And then with your right hand, just making the right hand into a fist. And then hinging at the wrist joint, just lift the back of the hand away from the mat, but keeping the forearm down. So lifting and lowering the right hand, stretching out. It's quite good for tennis elbow. And then release that right hand, press into the left hand to come back to all fours, and we'll take that stretch on the other side. So taking the left arm up to the sky, and then threading the left arm underneath the right, dropping the left ear, left shoulder down towards the mat. So this time it's the left wrist, you make it into a fist, keeping the back of the hand down onto the mat, and then just bending at the wrist joint so the arm stays down on the mat. You're just hinging at the wrist joint, lifting the back of the left hand up and down. Taking about 3 or 4 more. And then releasing, coming back to your hands and knees. And then sitting back down onto your knees. And we'll take our little lotus flower. So bringing the hands together, turn the backs of the hands together, and then turn the fingers down towards the mat. Keep going round in a circle and then opening out to your lotus flower. So little fingers touch and then the backs of the hands, fingers point down towards the mat. Keep circling around so the thumbs join and then open out to your lotus flower. So once you've found that little rhythm, just going round in circles and then taking it back in the other direction. Finishing with your lotus flower, opening out the fingers, and then release the hands down in front, coming to all fours, tucking the toes under, and then lifting the hips, coming into a downward dog. So you can keep the knees bent. It's just a very easy downward dog. Just finding that bit of pressure down onto the wrist. So trying to take the weight towards the back of the mat. Fingers are spread, again pressing into the space between thumb and first finger. And then starting to bring the shoulders forwards over the wrists, coming into a plank position. You might just need to adjust the feet. Again, pressing the hands into the mat and then taking the hips back for downward dog. Again, you can bend the knees, just give the head a little bit of a shake. And then start to walk the feet up towards the hands, keeping the feet at hip distance. I'll turn sideways. And then place each hand underneath each foot. Again, you can bend the knees as much as you need to. Taking the toes up close towards the wrist joint and just massaging the wrists with the toes. So just moving the toes up and down, backs of the hands onto the mat. And then take a gentle forward fold, pressing the toes into the wrists or into the palms, elbows out to the sides. Just let the head hang. And then release the hands, Walk the hands back out in front, walk the feet back behind you, back into your easy downward dog. And then release the knees down to the mat. Untuck the toes, take the hips all the way back to the heels, finding child's pose. Bring the hands together, so making a prayer hands and releasing the forehead down onto the mat or onto your block. And then just bending at the elbows. Take the wrists away from the mat, so coming onto elbows. Slowing down the breath. And then releasing the hands, lifting up onto your knees. Bringing the hands to the heart center, just rubbing the palms together, creating a bit of warmth. And then place the hands back at the heart center. Namaste. Thank you very much. So that was just your little wrist finger stretch for today, and hope to see you all tomorrow. Thank you very much.